Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Mindful Art Space. Today we're creating a mosaic of warm, grounding colors. Shades of tan, coral, earth tone pink, orange, yellow, and brown. These colors remind me of earth, warmth, and home. A visual comfort in times when life feels unpredictable. We'll be using tempera paint sticks for the base, creating gentle color blocks that blend into one another. Once that's done, we'll take a black acrylic marker and begin drawing undulating lines that weave and cross over one another, almost like the natural flow of energy or waves. At each intersection, we'll round the corners, much like in neurographic art, softening every crossing point to create harmony and connection. The open spaces that form around these lines will be filled with flowing patterns and intuitive doodles, turning the mosaic of earthy colors into a living map of calm and creative rhythm. A reminder that even in uncertainty, everything is connected. Later, we'll add accents with gold, white, and silver pens, small reflections of light that remind us that clarity and guidance often appear subtly, shimmering through uncertainty. And just a gentle reminder, this video is sped up. Please don't rush. Take your time. Let your art unfold slowly. It's not about how the finished piece looks. It's about what happens inside you while creating it. This piece is for anyone who's ever felt anxious about the unknown, about what's next, about where life is heading, about whether everything will turn out okay. Today, through color and flow, we'll explore what it means to find safety in the unknown and peace in not having all the answers. So take a deep breath and let's begin. As you start laying down your colors, let your intuition decide which tone goes where. Let your hand move gently without plan or perfection. If your paint stick glides in unexpected directions, let it. If colors overlap or blend imperfectly, that's beautiful. Life overlaps too. Each shade you choose is an anchor. Tan for stability, coral for warmth, pink for compassion, orange for creativity, yellow for light, and brown for grounding. These colors represent your foundation, a reminder that even when everything outside you feels uncertain, there is a steady ground within you. As you breathe, imagine yourself softening into that inner stability. With every stroke, repeat quietly, I am safe in this moment. I trust the process. I don't need all the answers right now. This is your practice of surrender through art. There was a time in my life when uncertainty made me feel physically ill. I'd wake up in the morning with a knot in my stomach, afraid of what might happen, afraid of what might not. I needed every outcome to be predictable, controllable, understandable. But life doesn't work that way, does it? I remember a period when everything felt like it was falling apart. Relationships shifting, work unstable, and no clear direction forward. It felt like I was standing in fog. I could only see a few feet ahead, and my instinct was to fight the fog, to demand clarity. But clarity doesn't come through resistance. It comes through trust. One day, I picked up my art journal. I didn't even plan to create anything meaningful. I just wanted to move color around, to feel something other than fear. I grabbed the warmest tones I had, the same colors we're using today, and started pressing the paint sticks onto the page. The strokes were random, messy, layered. But as the colors filled the page, I started to notice something. I felt calmer. It wasn't that I had answers. I didn't. But in that moment, I didn't need them. The process itself was giving me peace. That's when I realized uncertainty isn't the enemy. It's the birthplace of transformation. And art somehow teaches you how to live inside that mystery with grace. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside us when we fear uncertainty. Psychologically, our brains are wired to crave predictability. The unknown activates the amygdala, the brain's threat center, creating a stress response. That's why uncertainty can trigger anxiety, overthinking, or even physical tension. It's not weakness, it's biology. But what art teaches us is how to self-regulate that response, how to remind the body that we're safe, even when the mind doesn't have all the information. When you paint without a plan, you practice tolerating uncertainty. Each time you release control of how your art should look, you train your nervous system to relax in unpredictability. Spiritually, this is also a law of attraction principle. When you fear the unknown, you're telling the universe that you don't trust it. When you trust the unknown, you tell the universe, I am open to miracles. Manifestation doesn't mean controlling the how. It means aligning with the energy of trust. Uncertainty isn't punishment. It's a portal. It's where creation happens, both on your canvas and in your life. So as you paint, repeat softly, I choose trust over control. I choose flow over fear. I choose to believe that unseen forces are guiding me toward what's meant for me. Each stroke becomes an energetic declaration of faith. Over time, I started to notice how my art mirrored my healing. When I felt anxious or unsafe, my lines were rigid and tight. But when I started to trust the process, my lines flowed. They curved. They connected. They became part of something larger. That's when I realized life is one big mosaic. Each moment, even the confusing ones, fits into a bigger picture. And just like your art, you often can't see the pattern until you step back. When I finally understood that, I started to relax into the unknown. I began to see uncertainty as an invitation to slow down, to listen, to surrender. The unknown isn't empty. It's full of possibilities, waiting for your alignment. And sometimes, not knowing the outcome is the most sacred act of trust you can give the universe. Let's take a grounding pause. Put your paint stick down for a moment and rest your hand on the page. Feel the texture beneath your palm. Breathe in slowly through your nose and exhale softly through your mouth. Say quietly to yourself, I am grounded in this moment. I am supported by the earth beneath me. I can be at peace even in uncertainty. Then, when you're ready, pick your tool back up, maybe your black acrylic marker, and start outlining some of your color blocks. Don't plan where the lines go. Let them meander, overlap, intersect. These lines are your trust marks, visible reminders that you can move forward without knowing exactly where you're going. When we live in uncertainty, the ego wants to step in and take control. It wants answers, timelines, certainty. But the soul operates differently. It thrives in curiosity, expansion, and trust. That's why manifestation isn't about controlling the outcome. It's about vibrational alignment. When you're calm, trusting, and open, you align with opportunities and synchronicities that match that energy. When you're anxious or fearful, you align with resistance and delay. The beautiful thing about mindful art is that it naturally raises your vibration. As your body relaxes, your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your energy shifts into receiving mode. You start magnetizing peace instead of chasing control. The law of attraction works through emotion, and emotion means energy in motion. When you move that energy through creative expression, you transmute fear into flow. So today, you're not just painting, you're energetically reprogramming your nervous system to associate the unknown with peace, not panic. You're showing your subconscious that you can move through uncertainty with grace, creativity, and trust. And that realization changes everything. I think back to that season of my life, the one filled with uncertainty, and I'm grateful for it now, because it was the uncertainty that led me to my art practice. It was the fear that pushed me to find a new way to feel safe. Every color, every doodle, every mosaic I created since then became a little message from the universe. You are safe. You are guided. You don't have to see the whole path to take the next step. And now, when I face moments of uncertainty, and there are still many, I reach for color first, not control. Because art has become my reminder that peace is a choice, not a condition. Let's bring in a deeper truth. Uncertainty is the soil where faith grows. If everything were known, there'd be no space for miracles. The universe often withholds clarity, not to punish us, but to help us expand our trust. Sometimes divine timing is delayed so we can learn to surrender. Sometimes doors close so we can find alignment. And if you look closely at your art right now, you might see that. The way certain colors blended unexpectedly, the way lines connect in places you didn't plan. That's divine order disguised as randomness. The universe speaks in patterns, and your art is part of that pattern. So as you outline, add gold, white, or silver highlights. Imagine those strokes as light entering your path. Divine guidance, intuition, synchronicity. You may not know what's coming next, but light is already finding you. As you finish your piece, take one last deep breath. Notice how the warm tones, tan, coral, orange, and brown, blend together like earth and sunlight. They represent grounding and renewal. The black lines symbolize movement, your journey through uncertainty. And the gold, white, and silver, those are the sparks of faith that light your way forward. Remember that this video is sped up, but your healing is not a race. Take all the time you need. You can pause, rest, and come back. The real art is what happens within you. Every time you create like this, you strengthen the part of you that knows how to trust, even in uncertainty. If this session helped you find a little more calm, a little more trust, or a little more faith, be sure and subscribe and come back and paint with me again. Thank you so much for painting with me today. I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe as well. And if no one has told you today, I love you, and I'm so grateful you're here. Let's keep creating art that heals. Bye for now.